This episode is sad. Bad sad for sad lad. And sadness leaks through my pores. We have war and depression. Platforming. Bad mini games. Puzzles that are kinda boring. We have grief. We have two small games that could or couldn't. I don't know. I'm too sad. Hey Vol.
Hi! I'm very happy to be here.
Sure. I'm not. I'm leaving. Okay, hi everyone. Hi. Hi, this is the VoleMaulder Gamecast. This is the VoleMaulder. It's a podcast about sad games. And for this episode, we are no longer Vol and Otter.
This, my dear listeners, is a new series, well, a rebranded series from our Backlog quest into the Backlog Logs with Buck Logan and Pile Seamus.
Woo, I'm so proud of my new name.
Yeah.
Right.
Who is who? I'm not sure.
I don't know. We'll interchange it.
Okay.
Right, yeah. I guess I'm Pile Seamus for today. We'll be Backlog next time. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to make offensive
I have more
accent.
lumberjacky shirts, so I think Buck Logan fits more that.
Sure,
vibe, right?
Sure. Right. Okay. We are gonna speak about two games today, but first, there were two other games that didn't quite make it in the way that we want to.
We initially picked two games to cover, and then we started playing them and realized they didn't have much meat to them.
First one was Burly Men at Sea, which is fitting for Buck Logan and Pile Seamus. Really not much meat there. Like, it's a cute little game. It's a cute little experience to like sit down and go through it, and it's like based on like
how would you even describe that game? Like, it's a very basic thing.
I would almost call it a visual novel, the way that like nothing much happens. Like, you kind of interact with it, you move the characters around, but you're just kind of experiencing little folklore stories, and that's it.
Yeah, you basically control like 4 burly men. Like go
3.
3?
3.
Oh yeah, there are 3. They go to sea, and then some adventures happen to them, and
yeah, and they look like they're inspired from like Celtic like folklore or like North European folklore and stuff. You know, you have your selkies and the whale that swallows them and spits them out and stuff like that. Like, it's cute. It has a very cute art style. I love the soundtrack because it
was nice, yeah.
Because it was all made like all like vocal and like mouth noises, like rhythm. But at the same time, it felt very much like almost like a proof of concept of like a studio that went like, oh look, we can make a game.
I have no idea actually what the story behind this game is.
Me neither.
But I think it was a Vita game that was cross-buy with PS4. So I played it on the Vita. It was... So during the time I went to Gris, I was like, let's put some backlog log games here that I can just get my Vita with and play while I'm there. And this was one of them. The art style was appealing to me, and I had booted it up ages ago and thought that it looked cute, but I didn't play much, so I didn't really know whether there was any depth to it or not. So it's like really short stories, basically, that you just go through. Maybe the point is for it to be a mobile platform game. A mobile platform as in platform, the platform you play it on.
Yeah.
Or platformer. And you play 10 minutes and that's it.
Yeah, the developers are called Brain and Brain, and I don't really know any of their other games, but it seems like their style keeps similar. And from what I'm seeing, they also have delved into like animated short films, which feels very fitting, because if this was an animated short film, I probably would have loved it.
Yes and no, I don't know. Because Why would that be better as an animated film rather than you controlling some of it?
I guess. It's just really hard to talk about this one. Like you basically you don't exactly control the characters, you control the screen in a way that like you open up the screen a little bit more, and where you open it up to the characters just make a move towards. From what I understood, in the short campaign there was also like some different paths that you can take, either like left or right in specific places, and a different story can emerge from it. But that's about all I can say about this game. So I think
it doesn't have any particular impact. You see a different short story basically when you do that. I think there's a couple of other points of choice that you sit down somewhere, or you click here, or you click there. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't hate it, but there wasn't much else to say about it.
No, I didn't dislike it either. But it's just not something that's meaty enough to like delve into an episode. So that was just a wrong choice for this.
Yeah. So it's not a counter recommendation. It's more like, all right, there's not much meat to discuss here, so let's pick another game. The second game we had was Tearaway.
Tearaway Unfolded for the PlayStation and the Vita.
Well, Tearaway is the Vita. Tearaway Unfolded is the PS4 version.
Okay, sure. I tried the Unfolded.
I played the Vita, which I thought I had, but I didn't. It was a trial. Because we had the Unfolded version from Plus, and I thought it was a cross-buy thing, but they're different games. And you noped out of that. I didn't nope out of it. You noped out, and then I decided to just leave it for later for myself. Why did you nope out?
I noped out because it just felt way too twee in a way that like I felt like it was really not addressing me in any way. Like it has very cute art, a very cute art style, and overall like it looks really good, but the way I interacted with the game felt so simplistic that I was like, this is just not doing anything for me in my brain right now. And I don't feel there's even going to be anything for me to interpret out of what it's doing. So for me, it was an immediate like, nah, this is not going to work for me.
It has a little bit of a children's game vibe.
Not a little bit. It feels like a children's game.
A lot. And it's not a criticism. Like, we're not children, I think. We're adults.
I love Pokemon.
I also think that some of this is down to platform. This was a Vita game first, and the Vita has some hardware, quote-unquote, gimmicks that make the game more charming to play. They add a layer of fun that doesn't really exist if you take it away from that platform. I didn't try the PS4 to see what they've done differently.
I mean, the motion controls that are on the Vita apply on the controller of the PlayStation.
Were you using the touchpad to do the things like to? Because on the Vita it asks you for. Okay, let's describe the game a little bit. So it kind of merges the two worlds, the game world and the real world, on the Vita at least.
Mm-hmm. And same on the PlayStation.
Kind of hovering above it, and you're looking at it, and the game character is trying to get to you, right? And there are surfaces in the game that look like they're made out of paper, and on the Vita you touch the back panel and your fingers come through.
No, that doesn't happen in the game. When you make your little cutouts, you use the touchpad for it.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't. Your finger doesn't come through, but you can. Like occasionally, the game tells you like, "Oh, we need to fill up this gap. Can you make a little cutout to fit there?" And you just make your little shape, or you make. They ask you, "Oh, this character needs a crown," and you just trace a little crown on the touchpad, and that's it.
You do this stuff with the touch screen on the Vita, but there are certain bits where there are enemies, and you tap the back panel and you bounce them on the air. No. And there are other places where you need to move stuff around, and you touch the back, and your finger comes through, and then you push things around.
No,
that's not a thing on the PS4.
No, okay. It's fully controller based, and There is motion controls in there as well, which will interact with the characters and the enemies in it. But yeah, it just did not feel.
Does
like
it use a
enough for me.
camera at all on the PS4?
Yeah. The camera is basically you looking at the game, not not the game
I found
moving.
I found that super amusing because I was making obviously silly faces every time that it wanted me to do that, and then at some point it plasters your whatever photo you take on some LPs, like vinyls that are rotating around and as platformers, and then you go on, and then it's just me doing a stupid face plastered everywhere inside the game, which I thought was quite amusing.
That was not on the Vita. On the PlayStation, sorry.
Okay. Maybe, right. Maybe we should return to this game at some point in the future and do like a comparison. I don't know. I want to play this. I decided to buy it on the Vita and play it through eventually because I'm a sucker for these kinds of gimmicky things. When certain platforms have some unique control possibilities and developers use them creatively, I really enjoy that. That gives me a lot of joy. That's why I'm occasionally going on about, this game, I would have preferred this on the Wii, on the Wii U or something, because I think some of those extra bits would add a little bit of fun.
I also give me an idea for a future episode where we talk about gimmicks. Like my issue with gimmicky games is that a lot of times people use a gimmick to create a game is that they build the game around the gimmick, but they don't enrich the game enough to stand on its own. So like while I interact with the gimmick, I have a little bit of fun, but then as it moves on, I start losing this fun because like there's just no more hook other than the gimmick itself.
I'm not going to disagree. I don't know if this game is that because I didn't play it enough. We should also note, I'm not sure when the date for that is, so maybe it will have already been done when this episode goes up, because we're recording on the 20th of June, 26. This may have already happened. So there was a website, or is still at the very end of it, that you could upload some of your creations from this game, and it would give you prints to print them out as cutouts and make them, like paper crafts, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that as well. It really is too much for kids for me without like... I don't know, like, I it's not like I don't enjoy children's things. I'm playing Pokemon.
Yeah, you play way more games for babies than I do, yes.
Yeah, but there is like and maybe it would be interesting to eventually delve into this, but like, this was in the too baby for me. Even Concrete Genie was a little bit too kiddie for me, like, while
it was, yeah. I thought you were gonna say that Concrete Genie was more adult than this one, but
it may be slightly, but that's not like a real comparison.
Anyway,
I don't know what makes Pokemon less baby.
Well, you grew up with it.
Yeah, but there's also other stuff that I can see now that are very much for kids, but then I go crazy for them. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what's the difference.
Maybe it's worth exploring at some point.
Maybe it's just because I like things from Japan, but nothing else.
Okay. So then we picked some other games.
Then we went hard different.
Yeah.
We went like, these were happy baby games. Let's go for something that's sad and terrible. The first game that I think both games were picked by you, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. The first one that you're going to mention was picked by me, and the other one you had it in a short list of backlog games to pick from you. Yeah. So I just gave you 3 options from there, and you picked that one.
Yeah, we'll talk about the second game eventually. It was one that I've been trying to avoid for ages. I'm glad that it's out of my backlog now.
You were trying to avoid it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it when
we'll talk about it when we get there. First one is called Gris. It's Gris in the end. I checked the pronunciation line. The Spanish word apparently means grey.
G-I-R-S.
G-R-E-A-S-E. John Travolta, isn't it?
It's a very depressing film, yeah.
It's a very depressive film when someone dies in it. Anyway, I don't remember. I don't remember. Have not seen it in ages. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
People like it a lot. Whenever I say I'm from Greece, they make a joke. Ha ha, like the music. Oh, shut up.
I have never had the misfortune of this.
I had. Anyway, if we're to
Alright.
talk about Greece, I prefer the Greasy Strangler compared to that, but that's different discussion. Anyway, Grease, a game. It's about. Oh no, it's about. Sorry, it's published by Nomada Studio. No, sorry, it was developed by Nomada Studio. Later on, they made Neva as well, where people might know them more from, because I think that made a little bit more of a ripple when it came out, at least. I heard more about that than for Grease.
I think they had already a little bit of prestige because of Gris.
Maybe.
They were more on the... They were in more people's radars, I think, by the point they released Neva.
Yeah. I mean, let's say I've heard normies talk about Grease. But that could also be because like it made it to iPhone and Android as well, so it was available too.
Right, okay.
It's a platformer for the most part. I think no, it is a platformer. I would say
for the whole part. Yeah.
For the whole part, it's a very atmospheric, journey-like, poetic kind of game with zero dialogue. And the premise is, in the beginning, you see your character go through something traumatic for them. They're on a statue and the statue crumbles and they lose their voice. And you start playing as the character, going through some really dreamy kind of like vistas, slowly regaining some abilities and movement, and slowly starting to rebuild a constellation up in the sky that reaches with you trying to reach like a higher, let's say, plane.
We should also mention that the game is gray when it starts, and with like, every chapter you add a color back.
Yeah, it starts with full color. When the traumatic thing happens, color gets drained out.
Mm-hmm. It's very pretty. Like I like the visuals a lot.
Yeah, it is. It oozes with style. I love the music, and I loved in general like the style that is like painted in, because it looks very hand painted, like small thin line with the color almost looks like a watercolor that's like going out of the borders of what has been already drawn. I also find the palette extremely pretty that gets selected. It's limited, but the way it looks, it has like a semi-faded kind of feel, which makes it feel like an oil, like, or water painting that like is more intense on some bits and less intense in other bits, because that's naturally happens when you use I love the style of this.
And there are some big statues.
Yes.
In the vistas that are quite imposing, and they were very good at conveying the emotion of every stage.
Yeah, I think so. Those had a kind of like a live painting kind of feel at times. Like they felt a little bit like when you try to model a human like in a certain pose.
Yeah.
But they were very emotional the way they were like portrayed.
Yeah. Like as in body language, there was a very they felt very alive in terms of how they were portrayed, even though they were stone.
Yeah, very, very emotive, very
emotive. That's the word. Yes.
Yeah, very emotive, very like expression net
expressive.
It's not working today. Very expressive. However, when I started playing it, I started feeling like this is just Journey, isn't it? This is just trying to be Journey a little bit. And I started predicting that eventually we're going to go to a crescendo of emotion that is slowly going to like rise to a climax, and it's going to try to be pretty and everything. And also, like, when I started seeing the theme, I was both curious, interested, but also like a bit like, okay, is this it?
Yeah, I had similar thoughts about it. I didn't immediately see the very, very strong influence from Journey as a negative. But as I played on, it seemed to me more and more that it lacked its own identity in a way.
Yeah. I mean, Journey is a super influential game. Like, I'm not going to take it away from anyone. That it changed me. Like, when I played it, like, I felt different around games, and I started enjoying games that are a little bit more dreamy. But Journey itself was about overcoming, like, hurdles and life in general as well. So using Journey's storytelling kind of like formula, let's say, it's not exactly a formula, but, you know, using that and making your game about overcoming grief, I don't feel like it's differentiated enough to...
That's when it starts to resemble a formula. You're not just taking inspiration. You're looking at that game and you're creating a formula out of that game to make another game.
Yeah,
it didn't bother me too much. Like I don't know about you, but I wasn't as critical. I didn't feel as critical of the game as I may be coming across right now on this. But because it had such good potential in terms of the artwork and the music, I was disappointed that that's where the creativity stopped. Also, Journey works a bit better within its simplicity because it's not a platformer. This one is a platformer.
Yeah, if we're to talk about the platforming specifically in this, to me it was too simple.
Yes.
Like, it suffered quite a bit of scroll all the way to, like, move all the way to the right, move all the way to the left, up, down, but, like, not much else there.
There were some collectibles as well that were completely pointless because they weren't adding anything.
They were adding some things, like, if you remember in the main thing that you're trying to build the constellation that you need to climb up on.
Yeah.
Collecting the collectibles was completing also some other constellations that you can't really interact with. So, like, there was one that was a turtle, one that was a building, stuff like that. So, like, you get the representation of the result of collecting a few things in, like, when you get to the main hub of the game, let's say.
But what does that mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean? Is that a metaphor for something? Does it symbolize something?
It's pretty.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
okay. No, I mean, like, it's not like you collect them and nothing happens. Like, something happens in there, but I don't know if it means something. The thing is that
I took that more as a functional thing to just here's the total of the collectibles in that level. Here's how many you got, because then when you finish the game, you can reboot every level to get all the collectibles, but it doesn't really weave them into its metaphor.
Now that we're talking about it, like, I had a little bit of a thought of that, like, because one of the main things that happens is that Gris, the protagonist, she loses her voice, like, right in the beginning. And I feel like she's going through grief and loses her creativity in a way. The constellations and everything could represent parts of her creativity, like, in a way, because, like, she manages, like, you go out of your way to create something extra. So, like, you're giving her more to overcome this grief. Maybe I'm stretching. I don't know. Let's say, to add the positive into all of this, that I said, like, it's a little bit thin in matters of gameplay. One thing that it does very good in the navigation in the game is that, despite, to make you understand, like, imagine that you have a central hub that sits in the middle of the map, and then there's several other things from, like, in the southeast, southwest, northeast, northwest of the hub, where you have to navigate to start collecting the main bits of the constellation that you need to complete in the central hub. The game has a great way of guiding you towards there without you getting lost. Not once did I end up in the same spot as before, and not once did I question, where am I going next? Like, it was very clear immediately where I have to go, and when it wanted to cycle me back to the main hub and guide me towards the new path, it was doing it so very effectively by creating, let's say, chutes that you would like slide down and end up back there, or you would like have some like big drops or big like raises or like climbs that you would be able to just end up back in the central bit. So I found that extremely smart and creative.
And it wasn't an easy task either, because a lot of the levels had a lot of lines that were overlapping.
Yes, and also that goes in another criticism, that at times it wasn't too clear where you needed to go. I did not have an issue with it, but then I realized. Then you talked to me when you were playing it, and I realized that like you just did not know how to move on because like one line was out of your sight at some point. Like it's nice in matters of style, but a thin line is a thin line.
Yeah, I was stuck in a very, very, because it has some puzzles, but they're super simple.
They're super simple, yeah.
And I was stuck in one of them, and I messaged you, and I'm like, I did not expect to get stuck in this game. What the fuck do I do here? And then you're like, you do this. I'm like, oh, right. Because I just didn't see it. It didn't register as a thing that was doable. But that was the only thing. Like later, like towards the end, in the last stage, when you start going up the constellation, it does something that was, I thought, quite creative as a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
With the light and everything, because you can light temporarily bits of the map, and then new platforms show up, and you need to keep moving at a certain pace because then that light fades out.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool, and it played a little bit with gravity as well. It did some cool stuff towards the end.
Yes, I think it became more interesting as I went on. Especially when it played with gravity, like the bit that you were shifting, and gravity would either be on the top of the screen or the bottom of the screen, and you would switch around. That's when I liked it more.
See, now though, as we're talking about, and this is a completely new thought, so it's not fully formed, but wouldn't this also fit the journey of the character?
Going upside down?
No, that as she progresses through her emotional journey, she becomes more able to engage with more things.
Yeah.
And becomes more flexible in her thinking as well. Starts to reconfigure and produce new meanings and stuff like that, in a way that when she is... okay, parenthesis. This game is doing what most pop culture does when they try to depict grief, which I have a bit of a bone to pick with, which is like the stages theory.
Yeah.
Which is so overdone, and also from, I don't know, my own therapy, it's not really a thing that has a lot of backing behind it. Like, that's not how people experience grief. But we tell that story so over and over and over again that then when you end up experiencing grief and it doesn't go like that, you're like, what the fuck is going on with me?
And
it's I don't like using this word, but it's a cheap narrative device at this point.
I don't agree that it's a cheap narrative device, because if someone wants to express a thing, but their vocabulary is limited to very basic and debunked, I think, science, I find it valid to talk about it as long as you express yourself in a unique and positive way. But on the other hand, when we're talking about something as sensitive as talking about overcoming grief, making it into such a simplistic kind of expressed journey, for lack of better words, I don't know how much it would help someone.
But the thing with art, like, I want to see something genuine and real from the artist.
I do feel it was genuine.
I know, maybe it was on some level, but I guess what I'm thinking here and why I say it's a cheap narrative device is that it's formulaic, in the same way that it's formulaic to try to make Journey into a formula, and then you just follow the beats that Journey has.
Yeah,
you have basically, it works for video games, I suppose, because they have stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if I go into a game that does this, or a story that does this, then it's predictable because, oh, yeah, no, they'll do this stage, and they'll do that stage, and they'll do that stage, and it'll be that. Like, I'm not getting
I agree on
the
that.
personal experience of the artist at that point. I'm getting the formula.
I understand that. I think, and that's what I said before, like, I don't think it's a matter of it not being genuine. I think it's a matter of a certain lack of vocabulary. That said, I feel like the same people could potentially move on to something a bit more sophisticated, let's say, in the way.
Yeah, sure,
at the end.
sure.
Because, like, if we're to talk about how they sat down and made, like, art in a visual and audio, like, sense, they did a great job. It was really nice.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I don't know where you played it. Did you play it on the PlayStation 5?
Yes.
Did you feel how nice the haptics were, especially when you were walking on constellations?
Yeah, that was nice.
That was really nice because, like, it was making like little blinky noises from the controller, plus like a tiny vibration on each step of the character. So it looks like they really thought about how they were going to use the controller in that spot, and it felt very good.
So on some levels they were quite creative, but not on others. Like, yeah, there is potential in this team. There's certainly potential. That's why I'm being critical.
Yeah. So in the end, I felt like while the game has a strong message and a really strong style, while making it to a 3 to 4 hour game, it did not really enrich it. It just elongated it in a way, elongated it.
Prolonged it?
Prolonged it. Like, it just felt like it did not add anything to it. And similarly to how you would say that everything should be a Wii game or a Wii U game or a Vita game, I guess. I feel this should have been a short animated feature and it would be much better for it, because I don't feel that the 3 hour long playthrough justified this, which is weird to say because 3 hours sounds like very little.
I'm gonna disagree.
Okay.
Because how I'm approaching most of this stuff is like, if I had watched this, it's very likely I would have thought, I wish this was a game that I could play. And I have this thought often. Because the interactivity, for me, has more impact on me. And also, like, things like the last stage, you lose something if you just have it as a movie.
I don't know. I don't think I agree there. I think interactivity and story needs to inform each other, and I felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect between the two in this case. Personally, could be wrong.
Yeah,
however,
I don't agree, but
yeah.
However,
it doesn't mean that I'm not recommending this. This one is a recommendation for me. I liked it. I enjoyed what I played, and I'm very curious to move on to Neva, see how the developers like moved in time, and if like they evolved or tried something new. From the very little I know about the game, I think they did. But
I think it's on Plus Extra at the moment. We could play it soon.
Maybe we could. Yeah, I would be interested. But yeah, overall, thumbs up. Quite a lot of comments. Not a bad go if you have the time.
It's also very short, so it's not like you're gonna invest too much time in it.
Yeah,
I think it took me 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours. Wow. Took me like
yeah, because I was trying to like savor the sights and experience. I was going slowly through some of the maps because of how pretty they were.
Yeah, you see, when you say like you would like things to be games a lot more of the time, I kind of like have the opposite. At times, I like sometimes I'm like, okay, my brain is not being tickled enough to be a game. And if this was a short movie, like 20 minutes, and it left me wanting more, I probably would have been more satisfied than I am now, if that makes sense.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to prefer interactive media more than the passive media, I guess. Yeah, the passive.
I don't. And the thing, a lot of time we have a fight about it, about how I find games an inferior, let's say, medium than film or books. But this is never about games being inherently bad or whatever. It's just that it's a younger work. It's a younger kind of form of art. And it's also like became popular during the most capitalistic stages of human history. So, and trying to develop a work of art when everything that's been thought about it when it's being put out is just how much it's selling, I don't feel a proper evolution is going to happen for it. And I feel that for a big part, it's been staggered as a result.
I don't disagree. And I would also add that it's also so interlinked with technology, and it started out from people who were more interested in the tech rather than the art, and that is still permeating it a lot. It's also way more expensive in some ways to make video games and complicated than, I don't know, an animated short. For sure.
Depends on
or
the
write
short.
A book or
depends on the short.
You don't need multiple different departments to work together to make something work as a short than you need in the way you need in video games. You don't need someone who specializes in physics, or 10 people who specialize in physics, and 10 people who need to do programming, and 10 people who need to do cloth animation, and this and that, and then QA groups and artists who work with gameplay designers. Like, you don't. It's a miracle video games are made with how many parts need to work together.
Yeah, maybe the scale that you're describing is fitting more in like AAA games.
No, it's small games as well.
I don't know. Anyway, it's a different discussion, so let's not get.
Yeah, it's a different discussion, like, for sure.
So, final thoughts on Gris from you?
Overall positive, unrealized potential, which makes me eager to play their next game.
Right. Keeping it on theme, because this was made by former Ubisoft developers. Let's go to Valiant Hearts, or The Great War. Valiant Hearts The Great War?
I think so.
Yeah. So this was one of the games that was created with the UbiArt framework. With the UbiArt framework, we got other games, including like Rayman Legends.
What was that? The UbiArt framework?
It was a 2.5D engine for like smaller projects that Ubisoft had. I think they're not using it anymore.
Yeah, this is an old game at this point. I think it came out
2013, 14. Yeah, something like that. 14. Developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, using the UbiArt framework. Same, also one of the other games that used that engine was Child of Light. Did you ever play that?
I checked it out, but I didn't get very far.
Yeah, I think I abandoned it as well, eventually. I wonder why. Maybe we can see, eventually. But Rayman Legends was one of our favorites, I think, when we were playing together. Are you shitting?
I'm trying to remember.
Vol was making a weird face, and I'm like, what is this? It looks strained.
I was trying to remember. This game had funding from something as well. I suppose it started as a solo project, which might explain some of its simplicity. And also, from what I read on the Wikipedia entry for it, because that's the great research I do for these episodes, the team did not have any experience with like designing puzzles. This showed, I would say.
Yeah, it did.
There was also a partnership with the producers of the documentary film Apocalypse World War One, and they had a lot of archived materials incorporated in the game in the form of collectibles and stuff that would automatically get added to your diaries, as they call it, as you go through the game, like letters from soldiers, pictures, and other like bits of information, like you would find, I don't know, some urine-soaked mask, and it would tell you what they were used for and when they, and in what context, stuff like that, which I think was nice. That was interesting.
Yeah. Yes and no. I'll tell you that. Maybe I should have watched the movie. But
I had played this game to completion back when it came out, and I remember being positive about it. But now that I played it again, I did not finish it.
no.
I think I was way more forgiving and willing to stick with it because it seemed like it was doing something that was worthwhile compared to other stuff. And at the time, I had quite a positive disposition towards this endeavor that Ubisoft was coming out of Ubisoft with a shorter, smaller projects.
Which was abandoned eventually.
Yeah. So, it's a side-scroller.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask, what is the game?
It's a side-scroller.
Mm-hmm.
You play multiple points of views from different characters, and each one has one unique ability, and that's how they solve problems. So that leads to very, very, very simplistic puzzles and problems that you come across in the game. So one character can punch things. So you can punch things or dig through dirt with a spoon. The other character can cut things. So every puzzle is around cutting things. You have a dog, and the dog can fetch things, so sometimes you need to fetch stuff.
And also the dog is ignored by enemies, so...
Yeah, which is odd. Until it isn't, because at some point you use the dog to distract an enemy.
Yeah, you also
do something.
That, yeah.
So it's a little bit
they will
inconsistent.
Not, let's say the enemies won't attack the dog, but the dog can interact with the enemies if you want them to.
Yeah. And then there's the medic that has a very simplistic rhythm, but no rhythm puzzle that you go through to help people that are injured. And almost the whole second chapter is doing that over and over and over again, which I found incredibly tedious and boring. And that's where I kind of went, I guess I'm not going to play this completion. Okay. I know what it is. And then the tone is so all over the place.
Yeah.
Which is what bugged me the most. Like, if the tone was good, and if the story was telling, because, okay, there is that partnership with the documentary producers and there's real stuff added in, but the story it's telling, it's not a real story.
No.
And it has such a glib vibe and tone that it's mind-boggling, rather, that they thought this was the way to handle this material.
That's my biggest gripe with this game, is the tone. On paper, this could have worked, because it's a simple side-scroller, kind of like 2.5D, simple puzzles and everything as a medium to tell the story. But the way things were portrayed in the game itself, I took real issue with. I'm not some sort of person that will be like, oh no, you cannot make fun of wars. You cannot. This is sacred material. I'm not that. I play Wolfenstein. Like I punch Mecha Hitler in the face. I'm fine with it. But when you have characters that speak in gibberish, they are expressionless, and also they interact in mini games that are very slapstick comedy Looney Tunes like, of, let's say, a bad rhythm game where you drive towards the screen with bombs falling or like Gatling guns, like machine guns, like going around you on the rhythm of a typical old classical music track that is used in Looney Tunes, like cartoons, in comedic scenes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you going for here? Because
multiple times as well, right?
Yeah, I did at least 3 before I knocked out of the game. And the thing is that the last time I did it and I went, nope, I cannot do this. This is pissing me off. I did one of those sequences of like driving away in the rhythm game with bombs falling, like when you're doing that, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And then right, like hard cut to you doing an amputation with sad music in the background, and the character that's getting the amputation being on the floor going, when you're cutting the leg off. Are you
And then you cut the leg off, you finish, and then character goes and then takes the hat off and thanks you. And then they're fine.
So, what the fuck is this?
I know.
Like, just to give some context, like to get into this, to the mood of World War One, I started reading All Quiet on the Western Front. And I'm like, this is one of the materials that I don't think that you can have an in-between easily, or at all. You cannot have like both a comedic and tragic tone at the same time. This material is too grim. Like what happened then was too grim. You mentioned the urine soaked cloths that they were putting in their face to avoid dying of like chlorine gas. Like that's, I think that does not belong in a cartoon.
No,
at least not in a cartoon in the sense that this was trying to be.
Yeah, it can be in a cartoon that goes for a different tone.
Yeah.
I think that was the major problem I had as well. Like I would read the material that you find, the archive stuff, and I would feel such immense sadness. And then you go into the as you're saying, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing, people? Like, did you play this and thought this was good tone shift?
Yeah. I don't know. Not only that, let me say that you'd have that rhythm game that bombs fall in rhythm that you don't control. You don't control the bombs that fall in rhythm. But later, the healing that you do as one of the characters who is a medic, that has an actual rhythm game in there where you have to interact to a rhythm, but the game gives you no rhythm to interact to. So you just have a visual cardiograph thing that you need to press the button at the correct moment when the beat of the heart makes it to the prompt where you need to press, but there's no rhythm.
Yeah.
So also in the gameplay wise, there's like a big dissonance between what should be happening from mini game to mini game, because these are mini games really. I was baffled by this game. Baffled to the point that like, and I said before that it was one of the games that I was trying to avoid for years now, for 12 years now, because back in 2014 when I bought it like on the first day, because it was post Rayman, it looked like something like, oh, you know what? Like the trailer was very serious. It felt like something that would follow this feel of World War One. I was like, you know what? That's going to be a good feel sad game. I think they're going to be respectful, and I'm going to have something that's interesting. But it wasn't. I don't think it was respectful.
So you were avoiding it because you were expecting something that would be heavy and difficult to go through?
No, I was avoiding it because I played the first hour and I'm like, I don't know if this is it.
Right.
And I just like, I'm going to move to something else. And maybe I'll try it again. But in reality, I was just trying not to play it.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember the details of my experience playing it the first time. I think it was during holiday from uni, so maybe I had a lot of time. You had bought the game, and I'm like, I'll play it. I'll get through it. I think I was getting something out of the archival material. I didn't think it was great. Otherwise, I would have probably pushed you to play it earlier.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Me as pile Seamus, I'm glad to make my pile of shame smaller, and I did make it smaller by 4 games in this one episode, which is great.
Yeah,
but one of the aspects of going over a backlog and playing games that you have not really paid much attention to before is that some will be stinkers, and I think that this was one.
Yeah, like there will be games that we haven't played yet for reasons.
Yeah.
So good reasons. But yeah, it's worth giving some of these a second chance, because maybe we're in the right frame of mind. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
I also tried to play this game twice. Second try, I bounced out off after 3 hours. First time after like maybe half an hour or something.
So maybe the third time will be the charm.
There will not be a third time, man.
No, it's out of mine as well. Like for me, it was a revisit because it was on your list. I'm gonna play it, and I wanted to go when you told me that I think I'm gonna abandon this game. I'm like, nah, I'll try to play it until the end, so at least one of us has finished it and is recent, so we can talk about how it concluded. But I couldn't, man. Like, I was looking at the next games we have on our schedule, and I'm like, I want to do that. I don't want to play this. So
yeah,
why force myself to do this? Yeah,
and not like, okay, and the tonal shifts, which is not only what we said. Like, imagine like playing like a cartoony thing where you have a Austrian mustache twirling villain managing a kind of zeppelin and bombing you around and going ha 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 and throwing like bombs, and you have a little bomb puzzle to kill him, and you throw him bombs in his chamber, and he comes out as like a scorched like fucking like Coyote from like Looney Tunes after he gets a dynamite in the face. It's weird. Or like you have that, and then if you pause the menu, sad piano music comes on, and you read all the horrors of people that were like sent to a war to fight their neighbors. They had no idea what was happening, and with like photos and accurate descriptions from back in the day in a text form. What? What?
Yeah, this is Valiant Hearts. What the fuck?
Valiant Hearts, the great WTF.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think I love the style. I don't have like a huge issue with the style itself, but like one of the things that I disliked quite a bit is that clearly the characters are made small in their tablet or whatever they had, and when they needed to do like a dramatic zoom in or a zoom in for a specific scene, it didn't seem like they redrew the characters in a bigger scale to not have pixelation. It seems like they just zoomed into the game itself, and you could see all the pixelation in their edges and everything. It looked like basically the quality of the picture was just dropping every time there was a zoom in, which
I didn't notice that.
Which felt clumsy. I can excuse it though, because like if it's a smaller game, it's fine. But at the same time, it's Ubisoft behind this. You're telling me you could not give the money to do something extra? Are you that fucking stingy that you want to make like a 500-hour fucking Assassin's Creed map, but you cannot fucking make one of your smaller games just look a little bit better? Anyway.
Well.
Gameplay. Let's talk about gameplay. We said that we had some rhythm games, but that's not only the thing. I found the gameplay boring and artificial.
Yeah, I mean, I've already touched on it enough. There's not much more to say about it. Like,
there
its
is,
character had
because
their own thing,
yeah,
and every stage where you had the character, the puzzles were like tailored to that. Which, okay, like fine, that makes sense. The problem is that the vocabulary you had as a player was very limited, so then there was very limited interaction. The puzzles also had to be simple because of their limited vocabulary. Like, you can only carry around one item at a time.
Which means that if you have a puzzle that needs multiple items for it, you need to scroll back and forth in the same screen multiple times.
Yeah.
Which is time-consuming and drab.
It's tedious.
It's busy work. Like, it's not really enriching in any way. On top of that, you had like pipe puzzles, you know, the puzzle that you need to turn pipe bits around, so a pipe connects with the first bit, so you can make someone choke on their own chlorine gas. Tonal again. You had escort missions. That was not.
Did you?
Yeah, because like at times like you need to like take care of all the characters. If one of the characters gets shot,
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it escort really, but yeah.
It's kind of it is kind of escort because it means like you need to play better to make sure that like they don't die.
And you switch between the characters in those segments, don't you? There were some bits where one of the character, like the characters' journeys would intersect.
Yeah, they all have a connection.
One character was in and one character was in danger, and you had to very quickly solve something for them to not die. I don't know if they would actually die, like, because it's not hard to figure out what you need to solve and do it. Like, again, it's very, very simple.
Yeah, a couple of puzzles did not make too much sense for me. Like, in the beginning of the game, one that confused me was that I needed to bomb a broken bridge to make way for myself by making the piece of a broken bridge shift back to me. While in reality, if I bombed it, probably the bridge would just break even further.
Yeah, okay, there was game logic.
Yeah, there was a piece that was like trying to push boxes around for quite a long time to make a bomb stop exploding, but it didn't make too much sense itself, like what was happening in it. Like, there was also leaps of logic, which also works back in the tonal thing. It's like, we're seeing like something that was insanely realistic and bad, like, but it doesn't work with real life logic, so there was a such huge disconnect between me and this game that I could not vibe with it at all. I
don't understand who the audience is for this game. It plays and looks like a children's game, but with the collectibles it has, I don't think it's necessarily appropriate for children.
So the way it is portrayed is like sanitized enough to make it approachable, while the tone is being kept kind of stupid. So my interpretation is that this is a bad education project of them trying to teach younger people about World War I without really challenging them, like without making the material too grim. But then at the same time,
the material is fucking grim.
The material will always be grim. So either you need to go into a complete different, like, kind of parody level to make this like either counter art or acceptable in any way. To make yourself like have any artistic value, you need to become really like transgressive in a way, or you need to just focus on what the thing was, which was sad. And it's fine for young kids to feel sad at times because the world is sad. You don't need to coddle kids. You don't need to.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. Depending on the age, though, like they have some photos, like real photos in the collectibles of people with half-blown faces and stuff like that. Like that can be fucking traumatic to see when you're not ready for it.
I don't know. At school, they taught us about World War I and saw some grim stuff when I was a kid. I'm not messed up as a result. What I was messed up as a result was religious extremism in my place. Anyway, like
I don't know. Like I remember when I was a kid, there were occasionally like very graphic scenes in news of accidents or photos.
Yeah,
definitely. And I had intrusive images of those for years after.
Keep in mind also that I grew up in the time that, you know, the time of beheading videos online leaking and like suddenly appearing in your Facebook feed when you're like 14.
Okay, I'm thinking because I'm a bit older than you.
That's before that, yeah. Like, I think by the time that became a thing, you probably would not be as disturbed by this as I was. But I was a kid.
There was a time as well when we were teenagers in my school when there were some kids would kind of push the limits of goriness and like grotesque shit that they would like then kind of almost kind of I'm guessing it was a macho display at that point of, oh, look at me, I'm so hard, I can look at these things and not flinch. Like there were websites where you could find like photos of like accidents and shit. And
I remember several of them. I got exposed to these as well.
No, I think I got a glimpse of that. I'm like, fuck this shit. This is just, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but I'm alright. I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah, no, I did not need that either. Like, I understand that there's a fine balance to what you can show, but when you're dealing with something like this, I feel like some faithfulness can help, but if you're not going to be faithful, just leave everything else out. Just make your cartoon. You cannot have it both. And this game just got lost in two directions. It felt like a child that its two parents were both trying to keep it to their side, but they ripped the child in the middle. Like, it did not feel like something with a real identity, and unfortunately that ended up in one of the most bizarre tonally games that I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
And I will never finish this. I'm refusing.
Counter recommendation then from both of us for this.
Yeah. Avoid this one. I'm surprised by the positive reviews online, to be fair. Sometimes I feel like people have no media literacy.
I don't get this. Like, I was, just as we were talking, I was scrolling through the reception section on Wikipedia, and there's some quotes here that are like, what the fuck? I don't know. I mean, it's, especially back then, I don't know, I would hope that this has improved the media literacy and the standards, I suppose, or references that people have for art. Because there was a time when I felt like I was taking crazy pills, as Mogato would say. When, like, I was on a forum back then, and everyone was going on and on and on about how much of a fucking masterpiece Heavy Rain was. I had some people pull the, I'm a film student, I know what I'm talking about, card on me, and I'm like, okay, you're a fucking wanker. Great.
I wish I came across a film student with that take. Once I had a very huge argument with a film student about the Nymphomaniac Lars von Trier movies.
Okay.
And they played that card to me, but even Nymphomaniac, I think, is a little bit closer to art than Heavy Rain is. So it wasn't that far gone, while Heavy Rain was...
That guy was arguing that Heavy Rain was better than 90% of cinema.
I don't think it's better than 10% of games.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think
I think media literacy between gamers can be low.
It's pretty low.
Yeah. Which is sad, because I feel that this medium has the potential of bringing out some real daring projects, but not this, man. Not this. Right.
So, two games that we didn't really think they were good for this kind of project. Two games then that we were kind of mixed with.
I was mixed with Gris, but I was not mixed with this one.
No, that's what I mean. It was a mixed overall. Like, one game we were positive, the other one was negative. I guess the way I phrased it wasn't great.
Yeah. Right. Should we jump into our new section that we occasionally gonna have? Emails?
Oh, right. I'm like, what are you referring to? Like, I've forgotten. Okay.
We got an email. And I would like to just have a small reply on it, if that's okay. Meerkat.
Yeah, sure.
Meerkat, who spelled incorrectly, who you may have seen our in the chat of our Twitch streams, sent us an email. Hello, friendly game creatures. I just wanted to say that I enjoy your sporadic Greek weirdness corner tangents, also the Greek food corner tangents. Thank you. We enjoy those too sometimes. Additionally, in your episode of Blade Runner, Caesar Sprinter, thank you for correcting yourself. Spicy said something about being poor and using a library as if it were depriving writers of money. UK libraries do give authors some amount of money depending on how many times their books were borrowed over a year. I think it's just UK authors are eligible for this, but there's similar systems in at least Canada and New Zealand. Further down the Philip K. Dick rabbit hole, where curious voles do vole, much of Dick's work is in the public domain. Happy podcasting. Thank you, Mirka. I guess I'm not depriving writers of their money as much. Let's say I'm not well delved on the systems that libraries have in the UK. I as a person, I'm someone that really likes to support artists or that make something that I like and appreciate. So usually, I do love buying a book, especially from artists that I like. Let's say for people that are dead, I care less so because it doesn't make too much difference.
But also, it kind of makes sense. Public libraries would get access to these somehow.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, at the same time, I don't know how restricting this is because, for example, my library does not accept donations because, I want to enrich my library locally here with the books that
books, you mean?
Yeah, they just don't accept them. And I wonder if this is part of it because I never understood why. Unless they just think, I just laced my book with anthrax for the next person.
I don't know why they wouldn't be accepting donations. Maybe Meerkat can enlighten us on this. But overall, I think I would agree with the challenge in that public libraries is a great thing. We shouldn't be minimizing them or putting them down by saying, they're for poor people. I did not... Maybe that was just not particularly well worded. That was not meant to take away from libraries because I kind of fucking love my library.
Yeah. And libraries in general. But yeah, I think I just made a made a little oopsie there. Apologies, libraries. I love you, and I'm sorry that reform is fucking everything up for you.
Yeah. No, where I am, there's quite a good network of libraries in the land of Scots.
Yeah, no, there are great libraries here as well. I know that, however, one of the things that recently has been bothering me is that since the shift of where I live to reform, for example, one of the new restrictions is that they're banned of promoting anything Pride related. Fun!
Oh.
Yeah, thank you, Reform. We love you. That was sarcastic, by the way, in case anyone thinks. Fucking hate them. And I don't like what they're doing with anything. So, climate change, far-right craziness, the World War I games that make no sense. This fucking world is falling apart, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least All Quiet on the Western Front is a very interesting book that I don't know if I can recommend to anyone because it's a big fucking bummer.
Yeah, I find it hard to read books like that these days. I used to be more into this more grim stuff when I was younger, but lately I want to read stuff that gives me more hope.
Maybe that's also an interesting topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Any closing words? Any Greek Corner words?
I wish we had more games dealing with these topics that Valiant Hearts attempted to deal with, that were better done, and ended up having more of an appeal to people, because I think it really disturbs me, and it's quite scary how much it looks like the world is forgetting what happened in the not too far history.
Yeah, I'm afraid that history is bound to repeat itself. And I don't... even a bad attempt, I feel, is more... It's more valuable than no attempts at all to...
Sure.
To create, something. Unless we're talking about, someone that's just using it to propagandize in a certain way, which happens. especially with World War One somehow. Actually, no, in World War Two as well. I really. Okay, no, I'm avoiding falling into depressive state. It's just I feel like media literacy is dead, and I feel like games, the reception that this game had is one of the reasons. I feel like people really just don't understand what they have on their hands.
It's either that or like I don't know. Sometimes I think perhaps I fell into this a little bit back then, especially with this game, as I'm trying to remember now, of being like perhaps overly positive and accommodating or forgiving or making excuses for something that I think has some value in it that is rarely seen in video games, and then trying to prop it up because of that. But then if you don't properly critique things, how can they get better? And I think this is a problem in today's like people talking like opinionators about video games, because people love things or hate things and there's nothing in between.
Yeah, which also is another very, very big kind of discussion that we could have eventually. But I don't know how much video game related it is, but in general, I feel we are drawn to extremes. There is, and I think online, specifically the internet and social media, is really algorithm based, which means that it's going to create your own little bubble of existence. And it's just going to further promote the things that you believe in, but it's not going to challenge you in any way. And that's why I feel like playing, like experiencing a wide variety of art from all existence and places in the world and people that were reading it, bad, good, extremists, non-extremists, and everything, like helps us to think more, to see that grayness in there. I don't know, like, I like people engaging politically with stuff, but I also don't like people being so cornered, like in one pigeonhole, without really seeing what else is being said out there. Because in my experience, in the little echo chamber, let's say, that I have online, what I'm getting is, oh, the world must be pretty good then, because everyone I'm seeing online right now is very against reform or something, you know? But I don't see what actually said elsewhere, because the algorithm just does like makes everything from that get avoided. So I was, for a big point in my life, I was a little bit blindsided on what was really going on. And not only that, like, if we're going to talk about media right now and social media, it doesn't seem like people play games to think about them critically, but it seems like people watch a YouTuber so the YouTuber tells them how to feel about games. And I don't exactly feel like, as I said before, media literacy is going to grow in any way if we keep on relying on opinions of influencers instead of creating our own when it comes to art. And that's one of the reasons why we love people to send us emails, disagree with us, let's make an argument, let's explore each other's perspective. It's the only way that I feel like us as a species will grow.
Yeah, like the economy of these platforms and the economy of the internet is such that it almost pushes everyone into polarized little boxes. That is what creates engagement. That is what drives then monetization and all that. It's very easy to lose your audience, and then to keep your audience, what do? You kind of try to appeal to extreme emotions to keep people coming back. And if you don't agree 100% with something, then you're bad. So let's go with someone else. So it's a weird one. It doesn't promote plurality of subject matter, of topic, of ideas. I've followed like YouTubers from 2010s, and there was a point in the recent years where all of them that were relying on it for their living had to almost rebrand or would make videos of, look, like my channel has always been like this, and I appreciate that the people who have been here from the beginning, but the more I do variety stuff, the more I lose audience, and I need to feed my family. I had kids, and now I need to think about that. So going forward, I'm only gonna do this content. I'm only gonna play this one game or this one thing, because otherwise it looks like my channel is getting buried, which fucking sucks. Like, everything needs to be one thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do have a limit, let's say, of where I draw a line. Like, whoever it is, if you suddenly start with me with some Nachi shit,
well,
I'm not gonna continue.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
but you know, it's grey, and I think even like in the extremist places, there's like so many people that are misinformed and just uneducated that I don't have hate for them. I have like a sympathy and pain, because it's people that are not growing.
It's people that are suffering and trying to find some kind of solution for their suffering. And there are people who are peddling simple solutions to their suffering.
Yeah. Right now, the simple solutions are immigrants and trans people.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was gay people. Not 10, 20 maybe. It was atheists and women 10 years ago, I would say. Feminism.
Women is still a thing. That is, I think, timeless.
It just
sadly
has not been as hot as trans people, let's say. It's an ugly world out there. Let's not make it ugly as well.
Yeah. We got a little bit off topic here.
Yes and no. When it comes to art, I think that all of these things have a placement. And maybe one day we'll also tackle gamers out there screaming, keep politics out of my video games. Or maybe not, because there's no point in all of this. But anyway. It's been us.
It's been us. Buck Logan.
Yeah, and Pyle Seamus.
That's spelled with a Y.
Yeah.
So it was nice meeting you. We should have had. Should we have done voices for these characters? Should we have done the whole episode in voices?
I don't know how I can do Pyle Seamus without an offensive Irish accent, so I will not.
Yeah, perhaps let's not go in there.
Yeah, no. Unless we want to turn it to a It's Always Sunny episode.
Should I wear my lumberjack shirt every time I stream Backlog games?
Only
now?
if you're gonna sing the lumberjack songs from Monty Python. Oh wait, that's also very homophobic now, isn't it? Fuck. Well,
it's not homophobic. It's a cross-dressing joke that they're doing in that song.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not. It's not acceptable anymore.
It's
of its time.
It's of its time. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will see you in the next episode. Logan Bucks and Pyle's Shaming, the video game, the movie, the show, the podcast.
This could be also be a gay romance.
Oh, can you read some of that book that I sent you?
What now?
The Space Raptor Butt trilogy?
Maybe at some point.
Oh,
I'll do a special reading if we have something to celebrate.
Some time back, I sent Vol a birthday present, which was a book called The Space Raptor Butt Trilogy. It's a erotica about space raptors.
It's a trilogy, but it's like 50 pages?
Yeah. Those books tend to be very small, but they're comedic geniuses. Like, I generally found that extremely funny.
Yeah, I guess you don't want to run that joke to the ground.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
All right, thank you for being here. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.